Everybody looks happy and chipper this morning. It's going to be a good week. I don't think there's any rain days this week, at least we hope not. So far, so good on the weather app. Jason and Sarah are not here this morning. My brother-in-law, Matt Wallman, got ordained as a pastor in South Dakota, so they went there to support him over the weekend. So I'll be standing in this morning and maybe next week because their anniversary is next week. So some fun times ahead. This morning I'd like to talk a little bit about our mindset, and more specifically our attitude, and how what we focus on affects our attitudes. And by the way, I'm learning a lot in this area myself, so I'm talking to myself this morning too, big time. Have you ever noticed when you buy a new vehicle, all of a sudden you start to notice that kind of vehicle everywhere when you're driving? It's the weirdest thing. You don't even think you're out there looking for that kind of vehicle, but all of a sudden you notice them. Boom, there's the 2002 Jetta everywhere, if that's what you got. And you don't have to, it's not like you have to try, it just happens to you. I think it's maybe your subconscious is looking for it because you've paid attention to them in the past, and that's what you notice. So what are you focusing on in life? Do you find yourself always finding the negatives in every situation? If so, maybe you're looking for the wrong things. In the same way, if you're looking at the good, for the good and the positives in life, you will start to see good everywhere. To put it in fencers' terms, if you go out to a job looking for reasons why you cannot do the job, I guarantee you every time you'll find lots of reasons why you can't do the job and what's not perfect out there. But the opposite is also true. If you go out looking for, hey, this is a pretty decent job, we can knock this out, most likely you're going to find ways that you can actually do that. Have you ever noticed somebody who seems extremely happy and you're like, man, how can they be so happy because their life is much worse than mine? My guess is that they're looking at the positives in the situation and finding reasons to be happy about it. If you think about it, if you're out on a job site somewhere and you have to move a fence line or something a little bit, you can right away get down and be like, oh man, why do we have to move this fence line? And start focusing on how terrible it is that you have to move the fence line. Or you can say, hey, what's the positive here? Well, the positives are, for us, we work for a company, so we're going to get paid either way. So, hey, we can just keep on working and thank God that we're not the owner-operator in this situation, and we can be paid to just move this fence and make the customer happy. Me and Glennon worked on Saturday, and we went to a job, and we were putting wire mesh on the bottom of a fence. And the customer came out, and she's like, oh, I wanted the wire mesh on the other side of the fence. And somebody who was a foreman probably should have asked her in the morning which side she wants it on, but we won't say who was the foreman on that job. But Glennon was the one doing the work. And so she came out and said that. And so he's like, okay, no problem, sure, no problem. So he starts pulling the wire mesh off, and then she comes out to the outside of the fence and is talking to me. And she's like, actually, hang on, maybe I can keep it on the inside on that one section. But by then, Glennon had pulled a bunch of the wire off and had it all boogered up, so he had to replace the wire mesh anyways, right back to where it was before. But he did it with a great attitude, and we got out of there, and we were still happy. So hats off to Glennon in that situation. It seems like some of us are better than others at that. Tim, I've been with him on gate operators, and there's something very hard and nasty that we have to do. Maybe we have to pull a wire around a corner, and it's super difficult, and it can be easy for me to be like, oh man, this is crazy, why do we have to do this? But Tim gets all excited about it, and it's like, how can we get creative and get this done? So look for ways for the positive and be like, hey, we can get this, we have the cool tools, and we can make it happen. You might have heard this before, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. And I would say no, and I've heard this before too, it's not my words, no, the grass is greenest where you water it. What you feed grows. You want big problems? Start with small ones, and dwell on them and water them, and soon you'll have very large problems in your life. The pessimist will always find a problem in every solution. We can't change our circumstances, but we can choose how they will affect us. We can either get bitter or better. Chuck Swindoll says it this way: the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, the education, the money, the circumstances. the failure and the successes, and it's more than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is that we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string that we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our own attitudes. I hope that was well said. It's up to us if we want to let life get us down or not. And it depends on what we focus on, I believe. The Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he. What we think about is crucial to who we are. Scientists don't agree on how many thoughts we have each day, but all agree that there are thousands of them. Who we are is shaped moment by moment by the thoughts that we choose to let in our mind and heart. The Bible also talks about bringing each thought captive. I believe it is very important for us to guard our thoughts and attitudes so that we will not let ourselves go down the chute to a negative day. Chutes and ladders. Right down. You cannot live a positive life with a negative attitude. Your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. Zig Ziglar. So choose the sunny side of life today and always, and you'll have a much better day, even though your circumstances might not be perfect. Anybody have any thoughts to add on that? Did I say it so well?